Discover the electrifying battle that shaped our modern world. The current war wasn't just a technological fight. It was a clash of egos, innovation, and ideology between two of history's greatest minds, Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. This 10-minute journey unveils the full story of their high-voltage rivalry, packed with betrayal, genius, and a shocking conclusion. In the flickering glow of gas lamps and candlelight, the world stood on the brink of a revolution, one that would define the modern age. It wasn't fought with guns or armies, but with wires, volts, and visions. This was the current war, and at the center of it were three extraordinary men. Thomas Edison, the tireless inventor and self-made icon. Nikola Tesla, the eccentric genius with a mind decades ahead of his time. And George Westinghouse, the industrialist who saw a future powered not by fear, but by innovation. Edison had the spotlight and a brutal campaign strategy. Tesla had the science and the dream, and Westinghouse, he had the resources to turn that dream into reality. Together, they weren't just lighting up cities. They were igniting a battle for the soul of progress. But behind the race to electrify America was a darker current: sabotage, media manipulation, public executions, and the fierce battle for power, both literal and political. This is not just the story of light bulbs in laboratories. It's the untold saga of ego, ambition, betrayal, and the birth of the electric age. The current war wasn't just about electricity. It was about who would control the future. And in this battle of currents, only one system could win. Long before electricity became the lifeblood of modern life, Thomas Edison was already a household name. A master of invention and self-promotion, Edison had built his reputation on persistence, claiming he discovered 10,000 ways that didn't work before perfecting the incandescent light bulb. But Edison wasn't just inventing, he was building an empire. Through his company, Edison Electric, he championed direct current, DC, as the future of power distribution. DC was stable, reliable, and most importantly, his. By the early 1880s, Edison had installed electric lighting systems across New York, illuminating entire blocks and securing the loyalty of investors and politicians. The media painted him as the Wizard of Menlo Park, a man whose genius was lighting the way to a brighter future. But while Edison thrived in the spotlight, he also knew how to play the game. He patented relentlessly, sued competitors, and leveraged his fame to dominate the emerging electric industry. Edison's system had one major flaw. DC electricity couldn't travel far without losing power. It required power stations every mile or so, a costly and inefficient setup. But Edison was undeterred. In his mind, DC wasn't just better, it was the only safe way forward. And then came Tesla. Nikola Tesla arrived in America in 1884 with nothing but a letter of introduction, a head full of ideas, and a burning belief that alternating current, AC, was the key to unlocking the world's potential. The letter was addressed to Thomas Edison, and soon after arriving, Tesla found himself working under the man he had idolized from afar. But the partnership was doomed from the start. Tesla's ideas clashed with Edison's rigid attachment to direct current. When Tesla proposed his AC system, capable of transmitting electricity over vast distances more efficiently, Edison dismissed it as dangerous nonsense. Their relationship quickly soured, and Tesla left, disillusioned and broke. Still, he didn't give up. Tesla took on odd jobs to survive, digging ditches by day while sketching out the future of electrical power by night. His break came when he met industrialist George Westinghouse, who saw in Tesla's AC system a scalable, powerful alternative to Edison's DC grid. Westinghouse purchased Tesla's patents and offered him the backing he needed. Together, they set out to prove that AC wasn't just viable, it was revolutionary. With Tesla's brilliance and Westinghouse's capital, the balance of power began to shift. The war of currents was no longer a solo act. Now, it was a true battle. Edison didn't take the challenge lightly. To him, AC wasn't just a rival system. It was a threat to everything he had built. And so began one of the most aggressive smear campaigns in scientific history. Edison launched a public crusade to discredit alternating current, branding it as dangerous, deadly, and unfit for household use. He staged public electrocutions of animals, dogs, horses, even an elephant, to demonstrate the lethality of AC power. He pressured city councils, influenced newspaper editorials, and lobbied politicians to reject Westinghouse's contracts. In a twisted turn, he even supported the use of AC in the electric chair, hoping the association with death would turn the public against it. Meanwhile, Westinghouse and Tesla pressed forward. They powered entire cities with AC. They demonstrated its efficiency, flexibility, and ability to light homes miles away from power plants, something DC simply couldn't do. The media fed on the drama, turning scientific rivalry into public spectacle. Edison versus Tesla, DC versus AC, fear versus innovation. Despite Edison's efforts, the public began to see through the theatrics. AC was cheaper, more efficient, and increasingly impossible to ignore. The tide was turning, but the war was far from over. The real test was yet to come. The decisive moment came at Niagara Falls, an untamed force of nature that could power a continent if harnessed correctly. The project to build the world's first large-scale hydroelectric power plant there was a monumental undertaking, and everyone knew that whoever won the contract would shape the future of electricity. Edison lobbied hard to keep it in the hands of direct current, but the limitations of DC were impossible to ignore. In the end, Westinghouse and Tesla's alternating current system was chosen. It was a massive risk, but it worked. In 1895, the Niagara Falls power plant began transmitting electricity using AC power over 20 miles to Buffalo, New York. It was a feat Edison said couldn't be done. That moment changed everything. AC wasn't just a laboratory concept anymore. It was a proven force that could light cities, drive industries, and transform societies. More contracts followed. Cities across America began adopting AC infrastructure. Even Edison's own company, now merged into General Electric, quietly began integrating AC systems to stay competitive. Tesla and Westinghouse had done the impossible. They didn't just win a technical argument. They redefined what was possible. The war wasn't officially over, but the victor was clear. And Edison? He faded from the battlefield. Though Edison lost the current war, his legacy as a prolific inventor endured. He had built a brand around innovation, and that reputation continued to open doors long after his grip on the electric industry weakened. But his refusal to adapt left a permanent mark. He had bet against the future and lost. George Westinghouse, ever the strategic businessman, gained respect for his foresight and belief in Tesla's vision. His investment in AC changed the course of history, turning Westinghouse Electric into a powerhouse, literally and figuratively. And then there was Tesla. Despite being the mind behind the winning system, Tesla didn't bask in riches. He tore up a lucrative royalty agreement with Westinghouse to save the company during a financial crisis, a gesture that cost him millions. He spent his later years chasing bigger dreams, wireless energy, global communication, and inventions the world wasn't ready for. He died alone and nearly forgotten, though today he's hailed as a visionary far ahead of his time. The current war was more than a clash of technologies. It was a war of ideology, centralized control versus decentralized innovation, profit versus purpose, fear versus imagination, and it sparked the electrical age we live in today. The current war wasn't just about the wires running beneath our feet. It was about how we define progress, by who controls it, who builds it, and who dares to dream it differently. Edison's empire showed the power of persistence and promotion. Westinghouse proved that backing the right vision matters. And Tesla? He reminded the world that sometimes the wildest ideas hold the greatest power. Their rivalry didn't just electrify cities, it lit the path for the modern world. And even now, every time you flip a switch, charge a phone, or see the glow of a skyline, you're witnessing the legacy of a war where volts were the weapons and vision was the battlefield. If you found this story illuminating, hit that like button. Subscribe for more untold history, and don't forget to turn on notifications, because the next story might just shock you.
Emotional, modern, I've been trapped, so